Dr. Aditi Nerurkar joins us now. She's a physician at Harvard Medical School. Dr. Nerurkar, always great to have you join us. So let's start with booster shots because it feels like there's a lot of confusion around this right now. So we do have this new data on the J&J shot saying it's 94% effective 2 months after the first dose. So if you get a second dose of J&J 2 months after you did the first one, which of course was the one-shot, do you think there will be a greater need for boosters as we head into the fall?
You know, Savannah, it's so interesting because these studies, there were 3 studies from the Johnson & Johnson data. The first was, like you said, the regimen of 2 shots within 2 months was a 4-fold increase in antibodies. 2 shots within 6 months was a 12-fold increase. So we know that the wider the gap, the greater the protection, which we've seen in other vaccines. But probably the most reassuring was that 1 shot provides 81% protection. It is durable, long-lasting, and it doesn't wane like the mRNA vaccine. So that's the big question mark here. And I'm really eager to see what the FDA and CDC decide.
And I think that that's exactly why there is some confusion here, because it's great news to hear that. But then people think, well, do I need it? So we'll have to see what happens. Now let's talk about what Stephanie Gosk was just talking about, which is the vaccine and kids. If the FDA gives Pfizer the green light to vaccinate kids between 5 and 11, that's, of course, going to be this major game changer for schools and overall vaccination numbers nationwide. What about kids younger than 5? What do you think? When do you think they could be eligible for the vaccine?
What we're thinking for ages 2 to 5 is that the Pfizer data will be available sometime in October. And then that data goes to the FDA, later to the CDC, and perhaps by early 2022 or ideally end of 2021 is when we will have kids between the ages of 2 to 5 vaccinated. That couldn't come soon enough. We know that just last week, 225,000 children were diagnosed with COVID, and we have an increase in hospitalizations. So this is a major, major news moment.
And Dr. Nerurkar, some other major news from yesterday, the Biden administration planning to open up air travel to foreigners, but those travelers are going to be required to be fully vaccinated. Do you think vaccinations should be required for domestic travel as well? And do you think that that's something that we will eventually see?
I do, Savannah. I think domestic travel, international travel, we really do need to push for vaccine mandates and proof of vaccination. The other interesting piece of this these new guidelines is that we're going to be increasing testing and increasing contact tracing, both of which have been severely lacking. So we're increasing testing. So visitors who are coming in must have a negative test 3 days prior to coming into the U.S. Unvaccinated Americans who are returning need to have a negative test. So all of these things together is going to be wonderful for us.
All right. Dr. Nerurkar, thank you again for joining us.